Let's talk a little bit about the Cold War open beta. I played it legit the minute it went live as an open beta. I don't feel like pre-ordering the game as I don't really have much hype for it. And generally pre-ordering, if you can avoid it, it's not. It's really smart, especially like it's open beta. The point of the open beta is to try out the game. So I didn't pre-order it. I just tried out the open beta, and I've been playing it for about 8 hours. When it came out, I played like 1 a.m. My time, so it started like I think it started like 7, and I played to 1 a.m. and then woke up this morning and I played some more, both to get some footage and so on, but also to kind of feel the solo experience. And I think that we really kind of need to talk a little bit about the design issues with this game and why this, in my opinion, is almost it feels like a step back for Call of Duty. Beautiful and lovely gamers, as always, my name is Jonal. If you like this type of content, a like on the video. I'm not remotely anywhere in the Call of Duty space, so a like on the video as I'm a small content creator helps promote the video. Since go for a comment down below. What is your thoughts on the beta? I would like to hear more. I heard a lot of praise about it from a lot of other content creators, and I would like to hear from other people that doesn't have any ties, just like me, to Activision or to any development team. What is your thought on the game? Just drop them down in the comment section. I read every comment, and hopefully I can respond, or we can have a discussion down there that's somewhat civil. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you'd like this type of content, FPS in general, guides, whatever. As I am an FPS coach, it would be amazing if we would hit 20,000 subscribers before 2020. We're like 500 away to hitting that goal, and that would be just a dream come true. So thank you guys for that amazing support if you decide to subscribe. Let's talk about this. The main issue, personally, that I think is not brought up enough. Now, everybody's talking about, the graphical downgrade from Modern Warfare. And for me, yes, it would be amazing if there were better graphics. And yes, I still don't think Call of Duty can compete with a game like Battlefield 1. I still think Battlefield 1 is just a technical masterpiece, right? Which also comes to the suffering of stuff like performance and frames, as Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 actually suffered a lot on that for a lot of people, unless you're playing on incredible hardware. And what Cold War has going forward, and what Modern Warfare also had going forward, is that this run actually pretty smoothly. Even on larger maps and larger game modes, it runs pretty well, even on my computer, which is not just like the parts aren't the best, but it's also a very worn and old computer, right? Like I have an i7, don't want to go into details, but it's an i7, it's like a decent, good i7 processor, kind of, I think it's 9th gen. I have a 1070 graphics card, I have like 16 gigs of RAM, and it runs on my ADD, not my SSD, unfortunately, and that's kind of like the rough of my computer builds, and I can run this game decent. I'm working on building a new computer, and if you run any like modern hardware, like the 2080 or 2070 series, whether the 20 series or the upcoming 30 series, this should probably run without any issues, even on high graphical settings. And the game looks fine. Like it's not like it's ugly or something. It's very bland graphical, but it looks fine. And for me, at least, it looks good enough that I would continually play it if I find the gameplay engaging and fun. But that's where I have an issue with it. And I think, and in the comment section, do you agree with me with this? I have this hypothesis. If this game came out before Modern Warfare came out, this game would probably be praised more. But because of the standard that we are expecting from Modern Warfare, and that's at least how I felt when I saw this game, and I heard it was not going to be made in the same engine, I heard it was not going to be made in the same style, that they removed a lot of the movement, that they removed a lot of the, stuff like, just like mounting and so on, which people can argue is good or bad, but it removed a lot of the features that was cool in Modern Warfare, like most of the movement. Modern Warfare has incredible movement system on a lot of the maps. You can vault over stuff, you can, there's slides and so on. Also, it's a far more realistic or heavy game. It's still Call of Duty, so it's still like this arcade shooter, but what they took was the arcade shooter style that Call of Duty is known for, right? An arcade shooter means all the time, you have this gliding movement. You can jump and shoot at the same time. There's very little recoil, right? Whereas it's based a lot on true aim, right? Think like Overwatch, right? There's not much recoil. Bullets go where you're aiming them to be, and then you can a lot of time move fast as well around the map while shooting without a lot of penalty, right? That's like the genre of an arcade shooter. Call of Duty, of course, very known for this, and that was a major complaint about almost every single Call of Duty game that I saw. Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, right? As examples. And also, what was their World War II game called again? I forgot, but they're modern World War II games, which for some reason just slips me now. I think it was just called Call of Duty World War II. Drop it in the comments. I forget this kind of stuff because I played the beta and then I just was like, nah, dude, I'm not playing this. But they were all feeling very similar. It's this like just like arcadey sliding around, as a lot of people would describe it, running around like headless chicken, quick scoping, shooting, rushing people with guns, which is fun. Like personally, I find that mechanic very fun, even though I can get tired of it over time. It's an enjoyable way of playing the game. But it was the same formula every time until Modern Warfare. And when Modern Warfare came, right, where they still keep that core arcade shooter feel, right? There's still the sliding. There's still like, there are recall to it, especially in large maps like, Warzone. But there are recall to a certain extent to the gun, so at least they feel far more heavy. The sliding is heavier, the ADS time is heavier, and there's stuff like tactical sprint, you can vault almost everything. And the maps felt very little, like there was not really a lot of restriction on a lot of the maps. You can vault most anything that makes sense. You can jump out of every single window. You can jump on every rock and everything. The only thing you can't do is leave the map bounds, right? You can't go out of map bounds. That's the only thing you can't do. The rest of the map just feels very freeing. And that's just not what's happening in Cold War. And that's one of my biggest issue with it. Yes, you can talk about the graphics. But when it comes to the fact that you took and you restricted, there's no leaning, there's no tax print, which I know some people love. There is no, but there are, the first thing that I played on this game was that there were these rocks on a map. There's a map called Cartel. It was the very first map that I was playing. And I rushed down to like a riverside where there was an objective I was going to defend, right? Level 1, haven't touched this game before, have rarely seen any gameplay. And there are rocks surrounding, or these like cliff sides or whatever, or surround this objective that's down in this like river area. And I saw this and I said, oh, well, I can stand on those rocks, right? And I can then have overview over the objective I'm supposed to defend. And I ran over to the rocks and I clicked space and to jump up and invisible wall. And why? And there are multiple examples of that on a map like Cartel, which is just rocks and stuff that just like, why can't I jump on top of this? It's very clearly in my height. Why is this not a thing that I could just easily get on top of and play from? And that just feels really weird, like a really weird design philosophy. And very restricting philosophy. Now, on top of that, personally, I think that it is kind of going back, right? You come from Modern Warfare with all this, like, essentially improvements or change to the formula, while still, in my opinion, feeling like Call of Duty. I think that, if you play Modern Warfare, it feels like Call of Duty, it looks like Call of Duty, it sounds like Call of Duty, because it is Call of Duty. But it didn't feel... It has so many innovations and changes to it that it didn't feel like it just the same thing rehashed over and over again. And Cold War feels very much just like those other games. It felt like we kind of got a break with Modern Warfare straight into Cold War, which at this point feels very similar. And there's nothing wrong with that if you like those type of games, right? And it can be fun. Like, I played that yesterday and I can admit it is fun. Because the general Call of Duty formula with running around just getting kills is an entertaining way of doing it, because it is just raw FPS. And what Cold War has really nailed down is the shooting feels loud, feels heavy, hit markers just feel great, getting frags feels satisfying, sniping people is just a dream, dude. It feels so fucking good. Getting a headshot, just taking down multiple people over and over and over again. That is very satisfying. But then there is just this, like, you feel like you're just gliding around the map. Which probably for some people, it's their cup of tea. But for me, at least, I have played this in Black Ops 3. I played this in Black Ops 4. I played this in Ghost. I played this in Infinite Warfare. I never played Advanced Warfare, so I can't speak for that. And I also played that for a very short time that I played the beta of the World War II game. It just feels very much like that. Right, without some of the gimmicks, right? No, like specialists, like kills, like super abilities or anything like that. But it feels very much like that. However, it's not all bad, right? I said like the gameplay feels good, like shooting guns, getting kills, the core aspect of it feels good. The loadout system and the kind of the gun customization, the gunsmith or whatever you want to call it, really nice. Best stats way, like if for once, it's just nice, readable, easy to understand stats on the weapons, on the attachments, what you're doing to it. Feels great, very intuitive, quickly to get something loaded out and kind of like quickly get some decision making going from that, which is just nice. It also has an aspect of just map design that I personally like. I think that a lot of the maps are really fun, and I think a lot of the game modes are also really fun. It was fun playing on some of these larger, especially like this large snow map, which at the current time I just can't forget. But there's probably some footage of it in the background when I'm playing around with a sniper rifle, like running around there just sniping people and just like sliding around. It actually gets me a battlefield feel, even though some of the vehicles have kind of questionable handling and so on, and the vehicle movement and gameplay of Call of Duty is not on par with Battlefields. It's a game actually I called like a Battlefield vibe, sniping people out of boats when I was playing on Navy, and sniping people out of tanks and out of turrets and just around on the map, controlling it with a sniper in this winter area. It looked great, it felt great, it was just so much fun, and that's the issue. Like I don't like a lot of the design decisions that have been made to the game, but I still like the game. Like it was still very fun playing it. Like I played with my friends, that was super amazing. The day after, which is today as I'm recording, I played today as well, numerous matches. Played some more Dirty Bomb, which I actually like. I think that's a very interesting and fun way, especially playing with with pre-made party squad. Jumping in a Dirty Bomb is so much fun. I had a blast. And probably after this video goes live, right, I'm probably gonna jump back on and play the rest of the beta. But it just makes me kind of sad to see like there was so much potential with Modern Warfare, and it just feels like a step back, and it feels very limited in the way that they've done the movement system, and it feels just very also limiting, of course, in the way they've done the graphics. The sound design is also not very good. It's quite impossible to hear people move around a lot of the time unless you're really sound whoring it, and even then it feels like a lot of time you can't hear people, which I can abuse, right? If you have good game sense, you can a lot of time pinpoint where people are, and there's a radar, so you can also get up behind. But I can run behind people, reloading my shotgun as I'm moving up behind them, and then just shoot them in the back, and they won't hear me. Even and it doesn't have to do with them listening to music and everything like that. Like this happens universally, almost against anybody. There are almost no audio indications for a lot of it, so the sound design is not very good either. And the worst part, in my opinion, is the way they handle Killstreak. It's so stupid. The way that they handle Killstreak now is that there is a scoring system, so there's a point score, so you need to get a point, right, to play the objective, right? We've seen this before, and I think that that's fine. Like, if you don't want to frag out and you don't want to do that, then you, instead of, it's not a kill streak, it's a score streak, so you can play the objective, and if you cap the point, you'll earn towards your UAV. The problem is that one, they're set on cooldowns to kind of stop people spamming, and you can argue for, okay, that's fine, right? Because you don't want that fucking, X69 sniper kid is spawn camping with kill streaks, because he can just constantly keep them going over and over again, because him and his buddies like got 11 artillery strikes just going after each other. So yeah, okay, you can talk about cooldowns, so you can't just farm it, die, and then farm it again, and die, and then farm it again. Fair enough. But why do you keep your scores and keep building them up after death? That's my issue. It's so easy to get a chopper gunner. Like, yes, you need to keep some pressure up and still play the game, right? To get like the really high score streaks. But like everybody can get an attack chopper, like a helo on the map. It's not difficult to get that. Everybody can get artillery strikes. Everybody can get UAVs, and it kind of ruins. You can talk about that. It makes it to a more competitive game to a certain extent. It makes it to a more, because at that point it's more of like, you just play the game. You focus on objectives. You focus on that gameplay. You don't focus on getting the kill streak, because you're just farming points. And if you die, it's fine, because you just got points. But it also makes it so that towards the end of the game, there's a lot of kill streak just going off a lot of time, and it's not really scary to play the game. Like when you normally play for kill streaks or score streaks, and you lose your progress when you die. Dying is scary, because if you want to get one of the cool high levels, kill or score streaks, you gotta be playing it safe, playing it smart, outgunning people, winning, and then you get it, and then you get like this huge satisfaction that you managed to get a chopper gunner. That's kind of difficult, right? Let's say you needed 10 kills in a row without dying. Okay, so you need to outplay 10 players. That feels satisfying when you can constantly get kills with going over and over and over again. And I personally really, really, really like that. But with this system, there's none of that. There's no tension. There's no scareness. You can argue for the tactability of it. You can argue about all of that stuff. But in my opinion, in the end, you don't end up with a position where kill streak are satisfying or kill streaks are anything else but just like something everybody gets. And the worst part is, and again, this is like very important for the Call of Duty community, which the devs should know, Call of Duty players, even though there's noob tubes and people camping and whatnot, is a very, you should earn this by skill, right? We all know how people reacted to death streaks, for example, right? That you shouldn't be rewarded for dying too much. And there can be a million arguments for why this should be implemented and why we should take care of new players or players that are not that good. And then there is the argument that you should just have the skill to get here. You should have the skill to be able to earn that. And if you don't have the skills, well, then you have something to grind for and push for. And that's kind of like the two sides of the argument. And I think that most of the Call of Duty community, and again, I would like to read that in the comment section, but when I hear it from people and what I've heard from the people that is more active in the Call of Duty community than I am, it is that they want that skill base. They want it to be like, if you get kill streaks, it's because you're good. It's not because the system held your hand, it just fed you point for just doing nothing. Or if you get one kill, but you have a KD of 0.5, but you still get kill streaks because you save your scores over time. That just doesn't feel always earned for a lot of people when it is a FPS game with the focus on the FPS. Of course, I'm personally also not a fan of the way that they've done nades. I think it's kind of ridiculous that you could have double flashbangs, even though the flashbangs are less violent than they are in Modern Warfare. It's a quick stun and then you can go back to it. But so you could do double flashbang and double nades, and the nades are kind of scary. There's a lot of that just utility spam currently going on, and I think it potentially will just get worse as people are playing more and more the game. They will get more and more used to just spam nades. I think there are a lot of people that are currently not doing it or doing it wrong because they don't know where to lob them. But if you know where to lob them already, they're kind of scary. And there's so many times where I just get random kills because you can throw the nades really far. So I can just throw them onto the objective and you just see explosions and you get like 2 kills for free. Or you can just like throw in double stun, nade, and you can rush. And then it's just like move away from the objective, get stunned, then you rush in with your gun, then you get a bunch of free kills. And again, it's just like, it's so easy to get that. Like, I can understand why some people like the utility version because it feels like you have a lot of control over the map and you can do a lot of things. But personally, I think that it just becomes this thing where there's huge lobbies of like 6 players on each team and everybody can have 2 nades and 2 flashes each life. And then it's like, oh shit, that's 24 nades or 24 flashbangs that can go off before somebody dies. And then that can just continue to be sent in and out all the time. And it's a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. But again, I think the game is fun. There's just so many things that I personally find scary because it feels like they're kind of going in reverse. There was so much progress done with Modern Warfare. It was received so well. That's why so many like Warzone. And then now we have this. And I understand it's a different development studio. And I understand it's a different engine. That's why it looks different. And the sound is whatever. And there's a lot of these holes. But I also think it's important to have this discussion. That personally, I like the innovation that was being done in Call of Duty. It was something that a lot of people were complaining about. It was something that a lot of people were getting tired of. And that's why a lot of people didn't want to play it or didn't want to play Call of Duty for a long period of time because you just get tired of that formula. Especially when it felt like just the same game with a different slap of paint on. Like Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4 felt very much like the same games. And this kind of feels a little bit like that stuff. But that's the end of the video. Again, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. It's greatly appreciated. Like, comment, tell me what you guys think about all the topics and discussions that, yeah. Anyway, I'll get out of your hair. I'll see you guys later. Please do take care of yourselves. Stay positive. My name is Jonal, and you guys keep getting in your process.